Welcome, ladies. Nice to see you all. My name is Daniel Stecher, Vice President and Operations Aviation Software. I'm your host today, and I'm very much delighted. It's our 15th Aviation Women Panel, and we have a growing community. So today we count 508 members. I was sending you all the links and resources around, so you can also join various communication channels, especially for WhatsApp. Okay, yesterday WhatsApp had an outage. Hopefully that was the exception from the rule. I also want to announce you a new event series led by Alexandra, where the next opportunity will be on the 4th or 6th November. So if you click on this link, you can make your booking as well. Today we have a very interesting topic. We are talking today about NDC, one order. And meanwhile, I'm seeing we have plenty of guests. Also, Elaine, good to see you.
Hey, hi.
And also Lena, long time no see. Sharina, you have to wear the mask.
I'm at work.
Okay, you're in the office. Okay, and also good to see Alexandra. So your event is on the 4th or 6th November. What was
4th?
Right?
Yeah,
4th November exactly. So I think you know each other, so we can really skip the introduction, and I suggest that we are making use of our time to start now with a presentation from Elaine, Jana, and hopefully Anne is also joining soon. Elaine, Jana, you have your slides?
Yes. Can you hear me? Yeah, we
Absolutely.
can. Yeah, we can either share it. Jana, do you want to share them, or would you like me to do so? Jana, I think you're on mute.
I unmuted and muted again. So I had suggested, Helen, as you have the majority of the slides, that as in previous presentation, you run the presentation. I have only 1 or 2 slides at the end. So please feel free to share.
All right. Here we go. All right, can you see it?
Yes, just press on presenter mode, please.
Presenter mode.
Is the small button next to the minus bottom right?
I'm not in. I don't have the application on my PC, so I don't have the same capability you might have. So I don't have this button.
You don't have PowerPoint on your computer?
Yes.
Yeah, and you just click on presenter mode. It's the small icon next to the mic.
I'm sharing at the moment. Can you see it or not?
We can see.
Okay, great. You mean sorry. You mean
so sorry I'm late.
Yeah. You mean presentation mode in my presentation? Yeah, sure. Wait a minute. Here we go. Yeah, that's what you meant, right? Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Okay.
My apologies. I'm sorry I got held up, but now I'm here.
That's okay, Anne. You are supposed to be. You're still on vacation, aren't you?
Well, right now I'm in Brussels meeting, my elderly relative that I haven't seen throughout the pandemic. So it's been a bit. So she's 85. So
it's a vacation too somehow.
Yeah, it is. But I had a business call just now that I sort of sadly didn't finish on time, so it's overdrawn.
Okay. All right. So, Jana, if you want to start.
So do we have 7 attendees? In how many in total? I'm trying to.
At the moment, we are 11.
We're 11. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Jana, do you want to start, or would you like me to do it?
We had agreed that you do the first slides. I have only the slides at the end.
Okay, well, fair enough. To be honest, the challenge with this presentation was the level of the ladies who will be on the participating to this conversation. So, well, the assumption that was that we will do very simple. And of course, you can ask whatever question you would like to. I know that some of you are very knowledgeable on the topic, probably more than we were expecting. But in any case, the idea is really to give you only like a high-level view of what is with distribution today, what is lacking in this distribution today, and why NDC was started, and how NDC could change. At the time it was created, how we thought it could change things, and then what is the status today, and also I mean, NDC is not being a standalone topic. Jana will present you everything which is around it, and the total ecosystem and the potential consequences of the changes.
If I can just add, Hélène, there, that what we have figured out, especially Hélène and myself, we figured out through our Clubhouse sessions, is that there are so many different interpretations of what this is. Sadly, we seem to have people out there who actually think this is a product, and that it's something, it's an IATA product that you can buy or whatever, and that is pretty bad. So I think it's a good idea to sort of try to sort out what the terminology, what is this and what does it mean to us? And we really hope for questions from you guys.
Yeah,
sorry, Hélène.
No, that's very good that you're saying that. We are definitely going from scratch, and really explaining what was the start of NDC and what are the differences. And so it's a good way to understand what's behind and why probably there are those different meanings that Anne was mentioning. So yeah, we have several goals, but I won't be too long with that. Definitely, the goal is for you to understand why the whole thing has started, and what is the difference in between the situation today and what it will be tomorrow with NDC, or what it is already today with NDC and the one order and the ecosystem too.
And just a remark from my side to all ladies here in the audience, just raise your hand and ask your questions. We are a community, don't be shy, and just raise your voice.
Yeah, indeed. And like Anne was saying, we are looking for your questions. And that's probably the best way to discuss, because as I was saying too, we took the hypothesis that, we were talking to people who knew nothing about the topic, which might not be the case. I know at least one person who is as knowledgeable as me on the topic, at most. Okay. So very easy, very easy, very simple. Distribution today, well, I would say legacy distribution, if I may. So today, well, before NDC, even work. We are talking about tickets that are sold at travel agents. When a customer goes to a travel agent and asks for a journey, to book a journey, then the travel agent will play on a GDS and say, yeah, I want to go Paris, New York. It has access to screens. And then it will be the GDS, which is a big IT tool, who's going to build the offer, build the reply to the request that the customer is doing. So it means that the different elements of the offer, the fares, the schedules, meaning the timing for the flights, everything is coming from different general databases, and the airline is only providing the availability. The GDS puts all that together and send it back to the travel agent. So you can see that in such a way of doing things, the airline don't really have a word to say. It is the GDS who does it, and the content is coming from external databases that the airline has filled, but beforehand, meaning there's no dynamic notion in there. Okay, so that's the situation today. You ask for an offer, you get it, but the airline is just behind the GDS. The GDS builds it. Okay, so in this situation, there was different issues. The first one is that the way the GDS screen looks like. That's what you get on the top of the slide here. It's what we call the green screen, meaning that it's very standardized. You have no windows, nothing interactive or anything. You only have a few characteristics of what you're going to buy, but no much detail. So if you imagine how it will look for buying a PC, for instance, that's exactly what you have on your screen. What you have today, if you go to Amazon, you get what you have on the bottom screen. If you go to the equivalent of a GDS, you have what you have on the top of the screen. So there's really limitation in the control, because the airline is not building the offer, and in transparency, because the number of elements that you are giving to the travel agent and to your customer is not sufficient. So that's the first. The two big limitations is control and transparency. The other limitation is related to cost. The way the economical model works in what I was showing you previously, the airline pays lots of money to the GDS to do the job they do, creating the offer, making the booking, and so on. And part of this money is given back to the travel agent. So at the end of it, well, of course, I push a little bit, but that's what you get. You have the airline, which is very poor, and you have the GDS, which is very rich. So one of the big issues that were here was the cost of the legacy system was the cost. Okay, so remember, we had control, we had transparency, and the economical model. So in fact, 10 years ago, when we put everybody in the in the same room, all the airlines in the same room, they could make like a big list to send to Father Christmas. To if you were to change the distribution system, what will you do? What would you like to? And so the list was very long. So I gave you some example here, like changing the legacy because the system were 40 years old, being able to sell to the travel agent the way they were selling on the website, being able to control the offer, making the offer, be able to be transparent, and so on and so on and so on. There were so many requests. The system was so limitative for the airline that all of them had an item to add to the list. So it was lots of different things were necessary, and that's probably why when people start thinking of NDC, they had different things in mind, and they ended up well going in different directions. Okay, so how could we deal with these difficulties? Well, that's basically the kind of architecture that NDC was proposing. The idea was to be more transparent. The idea was to give autonomy to the airlines. So basically, when you were look, it's exactly the same description as previously, exactly the same process. So you have a customer, you have a travel agent, you have a system that gonna put together the different offer from the different airline, and you have an airline. The difference here is that the airline is building the offer. So you have an offer preparation, and so the airline can have their own fares, have their own schedule, put some complement pictures, additional service, and so on, personalize offer, and build whatever will be sent to the customer the way they liked it. It was not, they didn't have anybody in between themselves and the customer. The offer was the offer was their offer. And so that's one of the solutions that was found in order to cover the gaps that we had in the initial, in the legacy way of doing it, that the airline will take the responsibility of building the offer. A big addition to previously here, I have shown you only the offer, meaning that if you have a request, you are shown all the choice that you have, but then you choose what you want to buy, and the way it works in the legacy is that the travel agent makes the booking, and the booking is made at the GDS level. Well, the information goes to the airline, but the information about the booking itself stay at the GDS side. Here, with this new scheme, you have something very important, which is the order management system, which can bear whatever the travel agent has booked. It can be, and that's a big advantage. It can be flights, and it can be anything else, the ancillaries that goes with it, and all the condition and so on. This is stored at the OMS level, and so it makes it much easier to for the airline to manage the whatever is booked on their flights. So remember, Anne, would you like to
yeah, this is like a summary page, you can say, that it's what it is about, and but the three pillars that I call them is actually control, cost, and then I say content or retail. That's what it is about to me. Those are the three pillars. And also, I think it's important that we mention when it comes to control is that with the GDSs, airlines never really had the opportunity to control who they were selling to in the GDSs. Cost, of course, we've already touched upon, but I think that the main driver of NDC was, of course, the when low-cost carriers emerged, and I mean, first we had Southwest in the US, but when we had Ryanair taking off in Europe with a distribution cost that was a fraction of what a traditional legacy carrier was paying, that really changed the scene. I saw that we had a question there. I need to, and then of course it's the, like I said, distribution. Well, retail content to be able to sell whatever. I mean, that's also something that Ryanair and the likes showed us, that you can actually make a lot of money, and especially who you sell to. Here we go. We have a question here from Sharina. Which companies offer mature OMS systems now? It's a good one.
You can answer this one. And
yes, I can. Well, of course, I'm personally very much pro a company because I've been working so much with them and been my business partner has been very involved in them, and I think that. But the problem is that the website is not up and running yet. But Retail Air is definitely a solution. I can certainly talk to everybody, and on a one-to-one basis, or do a demo of it. You also have Lola, which I think are really in a good position today. They are behind Allegiant. I would say that Prebas is one that we're very, very interested in, of course, because with the emerging carrier Flyr in Norway. They've left a traditional PSS and they're going into the world of not having RBDs. They have no fares. If they have 190 seats on the aircraft, they have 190 products, and so that that's really, really, really different. But and of course I would say Emirates are impressive because Emirates have their own OMS, and Emirates have really focused on this. I also believe that Emirates have, I know that Emirates have a lot of developers. I would say it's like staggering the number of people that are working on the solutions. So of course there are, and of course, yes, Ryanair has an OMS, EasyJet have an OMS, traditional low-cost carriers have OMSs. They still have a bit of friction between PSS and OMS, but they definitely have believed in this from day one, because anyone who sells ancillaries. That was the answer to that question. The flow of payments in the NDC model. Gianna, is that that's something that we will get into when you show the Gianna? That was the question. How is the flow of payments in the NDC model?
If you have covered that later, we can wait for that slide. No worries. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah.
Gianna, you're mute.
Gianna's on mute. Yeah. Well, we'll come to the ecosystem and the full flow of it.
It's true that considering the length of the presentation, there are so many details that we could go into. So we are definitely waiting for your question to do that.
Yeah. We welcome your questions.
Okay. So in order to complete the presentation, maybe before taking a question, we could go to the ecosystem overview. What do you think, Gianna?
Yes, sorry, I couldn't unmute myself anymore and had to leave and come in again.
Okay.
So can you stop clicking, go back once?
Yeah, here.
No, yes, only one click at a time. Thank you. So one of the most important things that you heard so far is that this OMS, the order management system, and the same information that two parties have. These two parties can be the airline and the travel agent, or any kind of agents, because with NDC and one order, there is the possibility to have new sellers sellers which are not IATA PSP accredited agents. So it is an enhancement, which is very important. Then the same kind of information is also between an airline and another airline in an interline situation, where within an itinerary of the order responsible carrier, there is another airline involved. Can you click one time, please? Okay, so what we are looking at within the NDC and one order is the direct sales, any kind of agency sale and new type of sellers, partner sales, which are hotel, airports, limo services, the theater, whatever, and interline sales, which are normally these partner sales that are airline or aviation, flights. Can you another click, please? Now, the control over the offer, the sale is very, very important. And I come to that when we go into finance. The dynamic pricing, I have this bubble here because, as well as customer recognition, because these two bubbles are the, how shall I say, the topics that Anne and Helen have done such fantastic clubhouse sessions with experts in. So I wanted to show you these bubbles to show you as well of the whole topic of NDC one order ecosystem, where the clubhouse sessions have taken place already. So it was mainly, as of my understanding, dynamic pricing and customer recognition. Also frequent flyer as a bubble was there, but I didn't show it. Can you do one click more? So what it is as a big difference from let's say someone who is more on the management and finance side, it is the airline becomes a retailer. So they don't only care about, let's say, flights, and then they suddenly, some years ago, they realized the ancillary, but they enhance now the ancillary, saying, okay, a hotel, a ship, a cruise, a car rental is also included, and not only as a link as it was, or it is often today, and it was in the past, not a link to another website. It is included and can be bundled in their offer. Another click, please, Helen. Now we are going into finance, which consists of, Helen, another click. It consists of three main things: the posting into the general ledger, that means the real posting into finance, payments and settlement, and reconciliation. I have crossed out revenue accounting because for NDC and one order, we can leave out revenue accounting. We need some modules, and some modules are needed in the NDC and one order, but they are not needed because the main thing that revenue accounting does is they try to find out the value of each segment of an itinerary. And in the NDC and one order, because of the offer order constellation, and because it is the single source of truth, the OMS, there is the need to have the details there. So there is no need afterwards to find out what is the value of a segment. To make you an example, when the GDS, as Helen showed you in the beginning, have built a sale with the agent or the agent in the GDS, another carrier was involved. But what the value of the segment of the other carrier is, it was revenue accounting trying to find out, based on the collected amount, the fare behind, 50 plus pages special prorate agreement, and some calculation back and forth, which resulted in different way of viewing this contract of SPA and of rejections. Now, in an NDC1 order environment, when a carrier needs another carrier to perform, to fly a segment, there is an offer order environment. So if a carrier says, yes, I will fly New York, Atlanta for you in your itinerary for $200 on the 5th of August, then it is $200. It is nothing else to be discussed afterwards, calculated afterwards. So the information is crucial, that the correct information goes from the NDC1 order into finance of the sale and the usage. Regarding payments, we have to differentiate between different kinds of payments. So if you look at the payment with a credit card in the NDC or one order bubble, then this payment is processed as the current direct sales payment is processed. This is directly from the carrier through finance into the acquiring bank, because a credit card has to be billed within 24 hours. However, if you look at the payment between a travel agency and a carrier, if the payment there is cash, which is normally the case for many travel agents, then it is through BSP. Here, I can't go too much into detail, but going with NDC and one order transaction into the current normal BSP is a nightmare. It is costly, and it doesn't solve any issues that are currently there in finance, including the reconciliation. I make you an example. I cannot disclose in finance information from British Airways, but I can from Click Travel, which is still using it. I checked it today, although they were bought in summer of this year. So Click Travel has been able to reduce the reconciliation time of their transactions between British Airways and them from 6 days a month to 10 minutes. And this is one. And on the carrier side, I can tell you it is even worse or even better, the situation, when you go to a new system of settlement and not the way it is done today. So new wine in old pipes is not the solution. Can you make another click, Helen, please? Now, within the ecosystem, we have a lot of downstream processes. We have a data warehouse, which currently in the majority of the carriers is, how shall I say, fed by several sources, but one of the sources is revenue accounting. If this remains, a lot of valuable and fantastic information that is available in the NDC1 order in the OMS gets lost, because revenue accounting has not the capability to transport this and is a bottleneck. So it should go directly. Route profitability is one of the major decision items within a carrier. A good route profitability will help the decision makers to decide if they continue a route or not, because it's the end what is left from a sale after all the costs that really decides if a route is profitable or not, and not only the sale itself. And then there are other many downstream processes that at the moment receive their information either directly through revenue accounting, finance, or through the data warehouse. And if these processes are not, how shall I say, reviewed and transformed as well in the same pace as NDC1 order goes on in a carrier, then it is a loss. I mean, you lose a lot, and the gains are not as well as they could be. Are there any questions to this ecosystem so far? Good. Then we can go on, Helen.
There's one question from Sophie.
I can't see it.
Sophie?
I didn't write it. I'm lazy. Can I just speak it?
Sure.
Yes, please.
I understand the interline part completely and completely adhere to it. But I do have a question. If you have a trip that involves 2 flights from the same carrier, marketing, operating, today tariffs are based. They're not segment priced. It's the full route that's priced. And having discussed with prices about this, that there's no appetite at all to cut up the pricing and to have one price for, let's take a simple example, Toulouse, Paris, Paris, New York, to have one price for the Toulouse, Paris if the passenger is then continuing on to New York or somewhere else, and a different price if he's just doing one single flight, Toulouse, Paris. There's no appetite for that. They prefer to have a vision of the full trip. Now, is that something that will forcibly change with NDC in one order, or what's the outlook on that, and how can that sort of be solved, and how can the prices be helped to have a flight view, a segment view of the pricing, and still retain, I would say, preferential pricing if in the case of a longer trip?
Anne, would you like to answer that before I maybe step
in? I can. Go ahead.
Well, I think that we have, I think what you're going to find is that we probably have very, maybe different views on this. Personally, I believe that we are a very, very long way from a full one order between airlines. And really the pragmatic response to that is, there is about 700 airlines and 200 are IATA members or whatever. I do believe, though, in virtual interline. I do believe that in the technology of actually being able to present a package to a customer, making it look like you are having, a journey, so to speak, with various lots of components. Let that be rail, let that be, whatever is included, and present a sort of, one build price is very doable. And it's just really about API to API. So I really see no difference in the same faring. If we had Toulouse, Paris, and Paris, New York. Actually, there is a value of Toulouse, Paris, and if we just break out those, we can present them as one in whatever way we want to, and just agree on how we're going to split that cost. And of course, the beauty of virtual interline is that you get your own money right away. So that's my very sort of, fuzzy answer to all of that. But I'm a pragmatist.
Yeah, it's true also, Sophie, that we had a couple of sessions on virtual interline with Anne on our Clubhouse, and it's true that it totally changes the way you look at this very heavy, like Gianna was saying, very heavy agreement between airlines and very heavy process afterwards. But as far as the customer or the travel agent is concerned, the way you can display the offer, it's just the same. What's behind is not shown, right? That's why it's behind. So then the way you deal with the share of the money and the way, if you need or if you don't need to agree about a complete fare, well, that's another topic, and that has nothing to do with the customer.
Okay, my 5 cents or 2 cents, which are really different. My understanding, Sophie, is that you said it's all online and not interline. So It is the struggle of the distribution people or the NDC team in the carrier that says, why should I split up? If the customer is flying Toulouse, New York, and having a stopover, and in this case, most probably an aircraft change in Paris, why should it split up? It is because of the route profitability.
Absolutely.
So either it is split up in the NDC, and then the NDC, in the OMS. In the OMS, it is the single source of truth. We cannot say on one side from a distribution team that the OMS is the single source of truth, and on the side not showing the truth, because in a route profitability, I need to know on the Paris-New York flight how much is coming from another flight from my own carrier. I need to know on the Toulouse-Paris how much is local, how much is going on a long haul and bringing how much to that long haul, because even if I have only a seat load factor of 50% on the Toulouse-Paris, but this is a 50% which goes into a 100% onward flights, long haul, bringing money and passenger there, I cannot cancel the Toulouse-Paris flight. But if I only have a single little view and I have no clue what the revenue and the additional value of the Toulouse-Paris passenger are, there is a risk that someone is canceling a flight, which is a feeder flight, as I call it, Toulouse-Paris, with some local passengers. I am canceling a flight, which is crucial for the long haul. So we don't have a problem to keep revenue accounting running and have to change it substantially to only calculate the direct sales down to the segment. But then the OMS is not the single source of truth. So
what I understand is that what's being done today in the revenue accounting needs to continue being done. Whether it's done in revenue accounting or directly in OMS is a choice. It's a strategic choice, and probably a cost-benefit type choice as well. You've got something that works today. You're going to change that. You're going to make your OMS more expensive, and perhaps delay its setup.
Or you make your revenue accounting more expensive.
Well, I have some thoughts on that. I just saw that we had some questions from Sandra, so I hope you were not forgetting her. But I just like to say that I think a really pragmatic approach to this. The airlines that have an OMS and work in an OMS environment, those are very successful airlines today because they realize that they can diversify. We have countless examples of this, and it's about API to API. You know, I sell my product together with your product, be that another airline or be that some other entity. I think that this is the way we're going to evolve into and how the world is going to change. And it's going to become more and more pragmatic in that way. But for us I think we will have a traditional world kept in parallel to a new world, so to speak. And it's not really, and this is where it gets really interesting today when we see that direct traffic to airline websites during the pandemic have grown in, I've heard airlines say, okay, we've increased by 50%. We've gone up, I've heard airlines in Africa saying we've gone up by 35%. I mean, that is massive. So I think we will be seeing change, but I don't think that we can, and I think that's a problem with the sort of this IATA concept, is that you kind of like, you look upon it as, oh, this is the way and we need to replace everything that is old out there. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they have to sort of live in.
I totally agree with you. And in addition, I can just say that we've seen that through NDC, through these new ways of doing things, there were different needs. And so depending on what you want to fulfill, you're going to do it on a different way. So I understand, your concern, and Sophie, and saying, yeah, maybe revenue accounting, what are we going to do with revenue accounting and so on. Yeah, I mean, there's not a yes. We like gray with Anne, and so we are definitely in a gray area. It's very difficult to say we're gonna do this or that. We are very likely to do both with a different percentage of both. And yeah, depending on what you want to do. I mean, there are companies like DoHop or Air Black Box that exist and do virtual interline. And basically, what virtual interline is just adding 2 point-to-point fares, and then it's easy to see what revenue goes to one and what revenue goes to the other. And you have legacy carrier that still have interline agreement and that needs revenue accounting using the right percentage and so on.
But I mean, I'm not advocating particularly to keep revenue accounting. What I'm trying to say is that there are some functionalities that are housed today in the revenue accounting sphere that which will continue. Change probably, but will need to continue. And I mean, route profitability is definitely one of those, Gianna. I don't see how airlines can do without.
Yep.
Because they really base so much of their decisions on that.
But I think that we will be seeing also, you know, it's for the first time I'm seeing sort of really a more holistic approach from airlines. Now I'm seeing airlines saying, okay, do we actually need 49 interline agreements? Which ones are profitable? Is this really of value? What is the cost to us? Are 5 of those 49 profitable? Are 10 of those 49 profitable? It's a bit like now revenue management is a good example. And I know that Hélène will agree with me here. We're seeing airlines for the first time saying, oh, gosh, maybe it's not just about traditional revenue management systems the way we've always worked with them in the past. Maybe we need market signals. Maybe we need demand signals. Maybe we need, demand signals from other areas. Oh my God, I have a profitability on some of the on the ancillary stuff that I sell that can have margins up to 40%. And maybe that, so we're finally seeing a different approach to. So I don't think, and I think, Sophie, it's very interesting that you say, of course, we don't need to take away revenue accounting by no means. But I think we will be transitioning into a new way of thinking.
Yeah, and transition is really the word. If we want to keep that in mind, is that everything that we have shown you is like the vision, but then you need to go from today to the vision, and that's where it hurts. Because depending on your goals, depending on what you want to do, you're going to choose one path or the other, and it's very difficult to choose the right one and to find the right IT partner to do that, and so on. So so there's not one solution. We are more and more moving into a tailor-made world.
If I may add, I mean, we have the discussion as well if we don't think at interline. I fully agree with what you're saying, Anne, but the example of Sophie was even for an online sales.
It was particularly for an online, because if you're interline, you don't have that problem, since you know how much you're going to pay for your flight segment. It was specifically for online.
Yeah, absolutely. What I wanted to emphasize, especially here, is the OMS. If the OMS is the source even for the taxes, and I mean departure taxes down to the segment and the arrival taxes where they are, then you need the single segments in there. And then you also can have the value of the segments. The issue is, if we don't have this in the very beginning at the time of sales, then the collected taxes can, as today, differ from the needed or government taxes that have to be collected and have to be paid by the carrier, which is calculated within finance today, because regardless of the collection, the carrier has to pay the correct taxes to the governments. And here we get into a really difficult problem. And this has nothing to do with the transition. It has to do with the strategy and the vision of the carrier. If they say, yes, we want the OMS to be the single source of truth and have the correct financial information for taxes, for segmenting, then it goes maybe into the direction which I presented in 2019. And I said, I see that some modules of revenue accounting should be attached to the OMS, to the NDC. And for example, every good revenue accounting prorate system is capable for an online sales to be able to just calculate a Toulouse, New York down to a Toulouse, Paris, New York. So that's the point. Now,
I don't mean to interrupt you. So I am interrupting you, Gianna, but
yes,
we are being very, very detailed here and very specific. And I think we're kind of like losing a bit of the what are the drivers? Why would I mean, revenue accounting is not really a driver in my book. The driver is about reducing your cost as an airline. It's about control very much in my book. I want to control who I want to sell to. I want to get rid of unprofitable travel agents or any others by all means. I want to understand who is buying my products. That's actually the most important sales question there is in the world. It is, why are people buying my product? And then, of course, it is about delivering all the stuff, the customer expectations that people are looking for, and they are looking for the kind of picture that Ellen was describing. They want to be able to compare. They want to see, what is this content that's being, and of course, and like I say, Ryanair, they get it with Chorus, for example. They know that, yes, I can sell the football ticket first, and then I can sell the trip. And that is what all retail is about. And that is how I can make so much money and how I can diversify as an airline and not be so, just not be a commodity flight that anybody can sell.
I do not disagree with you, Anne. Well, I think we have lost Sophie anyway. But as a final note, if you look at the single businesses like the ones of the carpenter and all this, they can do a fantastic selling job and even provide the product they are selling. If their finances and they are not able to do the invoices is correct, they fail and they go bankruptcy. And that's the point. Doing one thing but not leaving aside the other is the main and crucial thing. So I think I would like to stop here because we have lost a lot of people already. Yes. They have left the thing. I would like to just answer a small question of Kolnas. The transition phase would be, in my point of view, to have it in parallel. We still need to do the key takeaways, but not a slide. But anyway, it is, in my personal view, it is a very cumbersome old current systems and on the side the new systems. We cannot do it otherwise. If we put the new information from OMS into revenue accounting, it doesn't fit. There is no space there to do that. There is no space. So can we do the key takeaways? Have the slides again, just for 1 second?
Mm-hmm. We can try.
And as you see from this discussion is that we have different views between distribution and the ecosystems. So it is different. So it is complex, and not only once complex. We could have written it 20, 50 times. But one major, really major message is that a carrier should not wait until they are able to do one order. One order means get rid of PNRs, ticket numbers, and all this. Go with NDC and ticket numbers, but have an OMS. That's the key thing. And go for the low-hanging fruits first. Don't try to do this difficult thing that nobody has tried. Do the most easy thing first in the NDC. Then if transformation is not aligned between the distribution and all the other bubbles that I show you, then it is a big problem. However, I know that because of COVID, a lot of cost reduction have hit the transformation in finance and the downstream processes. Current and new has to be in parallel. It brings more complexity. There is no way around. The impact on finance and downstream is substantial. It is really substantial. And the OMS is the single source of truth, many carriers say, but they not live according to it. That's my problem. Okay, thank you from my side.
Yeah, thank you.
Are there further questions from the audience?
I just wanted to add a couple of things, probably not questions. I think this overview that you gave is really fantastic. And I don't think I've been this close to some of the topics. But I can piece together it. I've read bits and pieces. So it's really good to know. And I would like to know more as well. What I wanted to say, what if, maybe a question. What if there is an offer on, what if there is a package offer and if I buy 2 or 3 things that is in my order, then how is that applied? And is it easy to apply offers on the orders and then split the money to the different parties?
I can certainly answer that. You have a good OMS. And of course, the whole point of having that is that, every order it has all the information in it. And of course, you can split passengers and change and, add services, ancillaries, cancel them, etc., and still maintain the same order. And, you cross-reference the whole time. That is let's call it a customer history. That is what really a one order is all about. And it should be just as easy, and it is with those who actually have a really good system for this, because then you just look at the reservation as just one part of it, of the order.
Yeah, and what is key in an order is the status of every piece of your journey. So you have a status. So the status can be booked, can be sold, can be on hold, can be changed, can be cancelled. But here you have all the history of what has been done to your journey, and so it makes it very reliable and easy to read for whoever wants to have a look at the details.
Okay. And the payment, when it's made, did you say it's direct sale? So is that then, how is it collected and how is it credited?
It's very well. We could spend an hour on
yes.
it, or even 3 hours. 3 hours.
Yeah. I think it's really, really key for an airline to have a payment hub and to really understand, the power of payments and treat that as a sort of separate. What I'm trying to say is that it's pretty wrong if you let your PSS control your payment, for example. I mean, that's not a very good option, and you should try to really have those payment options that all your customers are requesting, and of course to be able to use that to make money off of payments, which some airlines are doing very intelligently today.
Yeah.
And of course, if you have an OMS, of course, then you can easily incorporate a an agency UI, an agency API, a corporate small and medium customer API. And of course, with that, you would have a payment hub as well.
Okay. And I agree with what you said. Like what airlines are struggling with is to give the end customers who come to travel agents or OTAs or other means to give them the same information that they can give to passengers via their own websites. So
yeah, exactly. That was a starting point of NDC. They were looking at the website and couldn't do the same for travel agent. And at the time, travel agent were representing more than 50% of their sales. So they wanted to cope with that too.
Yeah, very, very, very interesting topic. Thank you so much.
It is. I wish we had more time for questions.
Sandra has a question. Sandra.
Well, it is midnight in Australia at the moment, so I didn't want to not let you know that I'm still awake. So thank you, ladies, for pulling this together. And as Anne will know from the messages we've been exchanging, I'm living and breathing this topic daily. And I just wanted to add, I totally agree with everything everyone said. And, you know, as an ex-revenue accounting person, I can see the complexities. But as a current revenue management person, I can tell you that the biggest and first challenge is getting a business case together, because it is a huge transformational change for any organization, especially those of us who are sitting on 40, 50-year-old legacy systems. Yeah. And getting selling the capability and the opportunities, but with patience, because it's not going to return overnight, is a very, very big challenge. And largely sitting on RM as dynamic pricing has got a big tag on it. So that's probably the biggest. If you can get over that hurdle, yes, there's lots of more hurdles, but you have to get over that one, and that's not an easy thing to do.
Thanks for sharing, Sandra. Yeah.
Any further question from Gulnaz or Elaine or Sharina, Lena, Christine? No question. So then let us look ahead. So thank you very much for this Aviation Women Panel in October. The next one will be in November. We have a very special session with Huma Batul. She's going to present how to start an airline, challenges and opportunities.
Oh, wow.
The owner and chairperson of the board of Alvia Airways in Pakistan. So that will be quite interesting session. But you also have already the opportunity to attend Alexandra's session on 6th November. So challenges in aviation career, which is, I think, also a great initiative within Ladies Beyond Flying Group. We have today 508 members. And if you are not yet part of the Lean In Circle, just click on the link. I've sent the slides around. Please stay healthy and safe. Spread the word about our great community. And if you know somebody who is smart, upbeat, positive, and enthusiastic, let them join our group. It would be very great to achieve the 1,000 members very soon. So have a great day, rest of the day. Sandra, please have a good night. Hopefully not a nightmare. Hopefully you are dreaming from NDC 1 order.
Oh, no, please.
Oh, God, please don't. No. Okay. As you probably, I wanted to say also, as you probably have noticed on LinkedIn, because that's really taken off in the last year or so, is that more and more people are discussing very openly, I would say now. There was some great feedback from Marco, by the way, Daniel, on one of the posts where I was asked to comment on airline information. And I think we're seeing just more pragmatism today than because, you know, we just can't have this kind of world where you have a buzzword, you know, sort of going, oh, continuous pricing, everyone's got to do continuous pricing. And then 95% don't understand what is continuous pricing. So that's not very good. It's been the same with NDC, I would say.
And just they didn't know what those 3 letters were meaning, so it was so funny, and we realized that it was still in a gray area in the latest Clubhouse we did, right? Because it wasn't that clear.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I will upload the non-listed video on YouTube and share the link, and then you can share it with all interested parties who shall get to know more about the NDC on-order ecosystem. And thank you very much, Jana, Anne, and Elaine. It was a great presentation.
Yeah,
thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.